Hey guys, this is Eliot Marshall, former UFC fighter, and this is the Gospel of Fire, where we're going to go through the fire and learn the best way to live our life. All right, guys, here we are. Eliot Marshall, back here with another episode of the Gospel of Fire. And I am here with Elevation Fight Team's highest ranking fighter, the number 3 ranked heavyweight in the goddamn world, Big Black Curtis Blaydes. What up?
What's up, man? Appreciate you having me on your podcast.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Talk to me, man. How did you go down? This doesn't make any sense. No disrespect to Overeem, right? He's a great guy. He's training with us now. I really like him. But you murked Overeem. You know, you crushed him. You stopped him. And then Ngannou and Derek Lewis had that boar fest. How are you not ahead of both of them? I can see you being number 2, right? I can see Stipe, he lost the title that night, right? I can see Stipe being number 1. He deserves to be number 1. We can't argue that, right? He was the reigning heavyweight champ of the world. How are you number 3? How'd you go down?
I guess they really wanted to hype up the Derek Lewis versus Alexander Volkov fights. So it looks a lot better on paper if you have him ranked at number 2 than it does at number 3. That's the only explanation I could think of. That's the only thing I could think of that made sense.
And we know these rankings are crazy. Like, I talked to Neil about it. Like, you don't fight, nobody ahead of you fights, and you move around in the rankings. So the rankings are kind of stupid. But anyway, you've had a pretty good run here as of late.
Yeah, no, it's been a great run, actually. Haven't had an ill since I joined Team Elevation about 2.5 years ago.
Right, and the only loss you have is to Ngannou, correct?
Yeah. And
that wasn't even that was a highly contested fight. Like it was a close fight. He was probably winning it by a little bit, but then you got cut. You got cut, and that forced what would be declared as a TKO stoppage. Correct? Yeah,
it was just a swollen eye. I didn't believe it was that bad or that health-wise. I didn't think it would be anything that was a major deal, but obviously the doctor did, and it was a TKO by doctor stoppage.
Look, we can argue this kind of stuff all day, right? But that's why they're there. They're there to, of course, you should always want to continue. Like in Corey's last fight, Yuri Alcantara should have wanted to continue, but everyone else that was dealing with him should have said no, between his corner, the doctor, and then the referee, right? That's why those people are there, is to keep you guys from hurting yourselves. And so we can argue whether the doctor should have or shouldn't have all day, but he did. Now the best news is you got a rematch, big dog. You got a rematch, huh?
Yeah, redemption's been on my mind ever since they announced the fight.
Yeah, in Beijing, right? You ever been to China before?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Beijing.
Fucking Denver's the first time your black ass guy out of Chicago, huh?
No. I went to LA. I've been around.
I'm just talking
I've been around. But no, I've never been to Asia. That's different.
I went to Asia one time with Dwayne. He lost. So I hate Asia because Dwayne lost. I hate Japan. I hate Japan because we lost the fight. And I hate that fight trips just work out with that for some reason. I love Lincoln, Nebraska. We had a great night in Lincoln. So I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, when you want to go back? But if you were hey, Elliot, let's go to Japan. I'm like, nah, fuck Japan.
That's almost how I feel about Croatia. That's where I lost to Ngannou at. And I doubt I ever go back there. To be honest.
And it's that's what sucks though. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I talked about it with Corey, when you go to a place to fight, you end up it's not like you get to see the beauty of it. You basically sit in a hotel room, nervous, scared a little bit, right? Whatever it is, bored out of your fucking mind, and then you go fight.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest issues, in my debut fight. It was hard for me to, appreciate the culture. All I could think about was, I'm about to go fight this giant African dude. But now we're 8 fights. I think 8 fights since that one. I don't have that issue no more. When I went to Australia, that was awesome. I enjoyed it. Went back home to Chicago, my last fight. That was amazing. I enjoyed that one. I got to hang out with my families. I'm doing a better job just embracing the moment and enjoying the week, enjoying the build-up.
Nice. That's important, right? Because if you hate that, it could ruin the whole experience for you. The whole fight. Let's talk about it. So after the Ngannou fight, what made you come to Colorado? Why did you choose Elevation Fight Team?
Well, I knew I had to leave Chicago. I knew that. I didn't know for sure where exactly I was going to go, but knew I had to leave because obviously the training I was doing, it wasn't enough to win. So I knew I needed to do something different. But my manager, Rick, he reached out to Leister or Cody, and then they talked it over, and they got me out here for a week. I was out here with Chepe in April of 2016, I think, and we was out here for a week. We enjoyed it, and the biggest thing I realized was the elevation. Like the actual elevation out here is an X factor. Like I think I have the best conditioning in the division, and I know some people want to argue with me. If you look back at all my fights, I don't gas. I never have. I don't gas. That's a fact.
Yeah, and you've had some tough fights, right? Like the Mark Hunt fight was not an easy fight. A lot of wrestling, a lot going on. So you wrestle, you know, and
yeah.
And that's normally where the heavyweights gas is in that grappling. And I want to say the only other heavyweight that hasn't done it is Kane. But Kane hasn't been the same Kane recently, you know, injuries of the sort.
Yeah, I looked up to him in high school. He was one of the first fighters. I was like, okay, I like how he fights.
I'm the head coach, right? But that doesn't really mean anything because we all share the same coaching duties. Like, for example, I don't travel with you for your fights. So what has it been like being in Colorado? What do you think has added to your game? What is the special sauce that we got going on at Elevation Fight Team?
I think the elevation, that's a major key. But besides that, before I moved here, I never had a guy to hold pads and teach me how to bounce my punches and move my feet, move my head. All the little nuances, I'm getting to absorb a lot of info a lot faster. I'm able to put it together and use it on a sparring, and now I feel a lot more comfortable on my feet. And it helps with the confidence. Like when I know I don't have to wrestle, I can wrestle at my leisure. It gives me a different attitude. I don't have to press. I can let it flow. That's the big relief to not have that weight on my shoulders. Like, oh, I have to get a takedown this round. I have to get one next round.
I think we saw that in the Overeem fight pretty clearly. I wouldn't say you had that one exchange that you won, but you were comfortable standing up on the feet with Alistair. And that's a big difference, right? You're not going to go in there and fight in the K1 Max, right? That's not you.
No.
But you are to that point, and Vinny's helped you get to that point where you can be like, all right, I can stay on my feet for a little bit. I don't have to press this takedown issue. It's going to come when it comes. And that's a huge mental calmness that provides is really nice.
Like, I don't know, I think it was around New York last November. That was the last fight where I had like the jitters or the nerves like real bad. And I was doing a little bit of hyperventilating. I was doing the fighter thing. I'm doing the what ifs, like, what if I shoot, he throws a knee, or what if I shoot, he throws an uppercut. And I was doing a lot of self-doubting. And that was the last time I did that because I realized how it affected me. Even though I won that fight, it was so sloppy. I wasn't calm. I wasn't able to process what was happening and like take advantage of openings. Well, then going into the Mark Hunt fight, I forced myself to, like I said, I enjoyed my experience in Australia. I didn't think about what if Mark Hunt knocks me out. I think it was easier just going against him because I'm like, he's a legend. If he knocks me out, that's not a bad look, you know? So it took a little bit of pressure off myself to know that he's a worthy opponent and there's no shame in going out there and doing the best I can do and still losing. I think it made it easier for me to just enjoy it.
It's what helped you quiet your brain.
Yeah.
All right, man. So you hit me up 2 days ago, right? You hit me up and said, is there a wait list for your podcast? You know?
Yeah.
And I said no, obviously.
I didn't know. You've been doing a lot lately. All the wait list.
No, there's no wait list. So, but you know my podcast, right? I like to talk about like some current stuff that's going on, you know, in like your current life, like you're fighting, people's fightings, yada, yada. But you know that I like to get down into the dark and dirty a little bit. So why'd you hit me up?
I listened to your podcast you did with Vinny. I thought that was dope. You I don't want to say exposed because he wasn't hiding it, but you showed us a different side to Vinny. I didn't know really that much about Vinny's past. I knew he had run in with the law, yada, yada, but I didn't really, you went deep. And I thought it was cool how you did that. And then when you talked to Corey about after he lost, it messed him up and he had to take some time to get his mind right. But now he's doing better and the things he's doing to keep his mind right. It was very conversational. It felt like a combo, but you were also getting out really good info, but it didn't feel forced. I enjoyed how it felt real organic.
Yeah. So what is it, man? Tell me what I need to know about you.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we all have a story. I don't know what makes one story more interesting than the other. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. So you just had a baby, right?
Yeah, just had a daughter.
How old now?
She will be 7 weeks on Saturday.
Oh, shit, son. She's just starting to wake up. She just woke up a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
At first, sometimes they can be all quiet and whatnot, but now she was waking up. So, I don't know, man. You tell me, you live in the fighter house, right?
Yeah.
Just my opinion. That ain't so conducive to having a little baby girl. So what are we doing? You know, what are we doing? Not as the fighter Curtis Blaydes, right? But what are we doing as the man, as the human being, which now is going to encompass the most important job you have in your life, which is raising another human being.
Well, first thing I want to buy a car. I've been trying to do that for the last couple weeks, but I'm going to get that handled. And then my next thing to check off my to-do list would move out. I'll probably get a condo, probably a 2 bedrooms. That way, when Harley comes over, she has somewhere to sleep. And I don't know, I've been thinking about investing, about the LLCs and using that to write off things on my taxes and whatnot. I've been thinking a lot about my financial future. I know fighting don't last forever. I still don't know exactly what I want to do after I fight.
All right, so let's talk about it for a second. Then I'm not going to let you off the hook so easy. You need to get a car, right?
Yeah.
You need to get a place to live. Because, like, man, the fighter house is fun, right? But the fighter house is, like, no offense, the fighter house, no, it's not dirty. It's some kid shit, man. Right?
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm getting older.
No. You got older 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right? You got older 7 weeks ago. Oh, I guess 9 months ago, 10 months ago, whatever that was. But when you decided to have a baby, that's when you got old.
Yeah.
That's right. You're a big kid, in my opinion. Right? You like to have fun. You like to joke. You're instant, you know? Like, I watch you. You're a big kid. And that passion of being that kid is what helps you fight. So you're going to have to keep that for your fighting. You know, you're going to have to keep that. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, man, let's talk about how we set some goals with our life. 2 things that I agree with you. The first thing, you got 3 things actually. You got to start an LLC. You got to get a car. And then you got to get a place to live. So the investment stuff, Curtis, that's great and all. Like, that comes after a little bit. But what steps are you taking to get a car?
Well, I'm going to buy Austin's Escape because, you know, he has the other blue Cadillac. I'm going to buy his Escape, and everything was all good. And then the week I was going to buy it, it starts breaking down on him. So that was like 2 weeks ago. And we took it to a couple of mechanics, and then we pretty much figured out it would be cheaper just to buy a different one. So I've been asking around. Haven't been to a dealership yet, but that's probably next on my to-do list, a dealership.
My concern with you, and I'll be very honest, my concern with you is your child, right? Is your child, because you are such a big kid. So how are you not going to be, like, actual steps? What are we going to do to have you not contribute to the absent black father that we got going on, which is like the worst thing that we have in our society? Not just black fathers, right? But the absent father. And I think it happens the most in the black community. And that's the situation you're in right now, right? Like, you're not married to your girl, you know? She moved out of the fighter house, correct?
Yes. We're no longer together.
Okay, you're no longer together, okay? So what are we going to do, man? What are the steps you're going to take to make sure that little girl has a daddy that loves her?
I go over every evening for a couple hours. I go over on the weekends. I'm working on my communication with her mother.
Right.
We didn't always have the best communication. It's gotten a lot better, but it's still not perfect yet. I'm still working on it. That's really the biggest thing, just how we communicate. As long as we have a decent relationship, I don't think it should be an issue, me being in Harley's life.
It's not going to always be decent, right?
No,
like,
it's not.
You guys have had a rocky go of it this whole time, right? So it's not going to be decent. She's going to start seeing some other dude, right? She's going to, and that you're not going to like that at all, right? Let's just own that for what it is, right? So we got some work to do, right?
I know.
We got some, like, grown big boy work to do on how you're going to deal with that situation, right? Because she's in control right now, you know? She's in control of whether you do or don't see your daughter, you know? So what can we do to take some steps for Curtis Blaydes? I mean, to be a better adult, right? Because, like, this is the hard shit, man, right? This isn't the, like, bro, training is easy, homie. Yeah. Training's fucking easy when it comes
to it already.
Yeah, but when it comes down to, like, these demons that you have, because there's nothing that's going to make you feel differently than your child, you know?
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Like, where do you lean to support on? And, I mean, I love those guys. Like, I love Austin and Tony, and, you know, they're great guys, right? And everyone else that lives in that fighter house, they're great guys. But they're just in a different situation than you, right? they're not going to be able to understand, like, holy fuck, my kid, somebody else is over there with my daughter right now. What are you doing to grow as a human being? Where are we going to go with this?
I mean, I talked to my brother, I talked to my dad. I've spoken a little bit about it with Vinny. I know he's got a lot of wisdom. He's a pretty wise dude. I want to get back to going, because we tried it out, Alex and I, for like a month. We were going to Vinny's church, and then we started arguing again, and we stopped going. I want to get back to going to Vinny's church. I enjoyed that. I'm working on not being, like, when I make an appointment, not having to reschedule or not being late to it. I'm trying to be more prompt. I think the biggest step to me being, like, a legitimate adult would be the LLC. That would be the first major adult thing I've done.
Right. So the way I always looked at this, man, was I needed a mentor. I needed someone to look at that I could model it after. So, you know, it was like the way I did fighting. The way I did fighting was Nate Marquardt. You know, I was like, okay. I went and trained with Nate like 2 times. Like, we all got together at the old Grudge, which was called TKO. And I was like, all right, if I want to get to the UFC, if I want to be in the UFC, I got to do what Nate does. Because Nate's a black belt at everything. So I just found it, and I didn't tell him. I wasn't like, oh, Nate, you're my mentor, you know? I just wrote down what he did, and then I did it, you know? So...
Well, I guess I do that kind of with Neil. I try to be like Neil. I know I don't 6 feet often, but he's probably the best human being on the team. Him or Drew, but Neil's he's a married man, so I put him a little higher up on the totem pole. He's a guy I like to model my actions after.
How about Vinny?
Vinny too, yeah. That's why I talked to Vinny, because I know he's experienced life. He's got a lot of things that can help me, like, with those experiences.
Yeah, man. I think Vinny's your answer a little bit, man. Just my personal opinion. He's got 2 children, right, from not his wife, and he's been through this. And his son has a child as well. So I think he's got some insights here. And you mentioned that you go to Vinny's church, you know, or you went to Vinny's church a little bit, and then your girl didn't like it. And so you're of the religious type, and I understand that. I get that. But Vinny does a lot more than go to church.
Oh yeah, I know. He does what do they call it? The thing where they go,
crucible.
Yeah, the crucibles.
Vinny reads a lot, you know. Vinny studies. He doesn't, you know, like I know Madden football's fun and all, but you made a different decision with your life than the rest of those guys.
Yeah.
So let's get some books to read, you know.
Well, no, I just don't read like those type of books. I read the fun books. But I've read like the self-help books before. Is that what you're talking about? Books like that?
Not just self-help, but there's some specific self-help books that are, you know, for men, for young males in your situation on how to be leaders. And I think Vinny is, and you know that I don't agree with Vinny on the religious end of things, you know?
Yeah, so, I know.
But I think Vinny is who to point your life, the direction to point your life at, my man. Because we got some things, not the LLC. Like, yeah, I get you, the LLC. Like, those are some, you know, that's important. But on how to do life, right? How to do life and make life better for you. You know, it's not going to be very comfortable. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. You know, maybe you don't like to read, so you're going to have to listen to the book. I'm not sure. Like, I don't like to read, so I have to.
No, I like
listen.
reading.
You like reading, so I mean, okay, so I don't. I listen. You know, I think. In my opinion, man, what I would like to see the most from you is to keep this big kid that fights, you know, and plays and all that at practice, you know, and keep that in your life. But you got a way bigger job right now. You know, you got a way bigger job, and that's your little girl. What's her name again?
Harley.
Harley, all right. So, yeah, you got to show Harley how to do life. You got to show Harley the husband that she needs to meet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think about that too, yeah. I think about like what she's gonna ask, how come me and her mom are together no more?
Right. So what like, you know what I mean? That's a good question. Like, and this is what I ask myself, Curtis. You know, every day. Am I the man that I want my children to be? Am I the husband that I want my children to be the husband for somebody? Am I the leader in all these things, right? So, and that's what points my direction. That's what points my direction of how to be and how to act in the day. It's what allows me to fail. So I guess you have to ask yourself that question. You know, are you the husband? Are you the father because you're not her husband, and you're not your girl's husband. But are you the father? Are you the man that you want your girl to meet?
Right now, no.
You don't
I'm not.
Then let's start getting there, right? Then let's start getting there. And it sucks, bro. It can suck sometimes because you got to take a deep, hard look at every action you do. You know, you got to take a deep, hard look at every action you do, and then after that, you got to go, okay, let's adjust that. And if you need to lean on Jesus for that, man, well then, fuck yeah, let's lean on Jesus. You know, and then find someone who leans like you. Find someone who leans like you and be real aware of what it is you do bad and what it is you do great.
Well, no, I agree. It definitely takes a long, hard look in the mirror. And I've been doing that. I think a lot when I be in my room by myself. I think about that stuff.
Yeah. Let's take some action on it. We can think a lot, right? Let's take some action on it. Let's start getting up early, you know? Let's start getting up early because, man, when you have if you keep your daughter over the night, guess what? You want that. Do you want that?
Yeah, eventually. Not right now. We're still breastfeeding. But yeah, eventually.
Right. Eventually, right? Well, you know, that's going to die out a little bit. She's going to go to a bottle, you know?
Yeah.
You know, they make these things called breast pumps where you can have breast milk in a bottle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But there's no 10 o'clock, man.
No. Yeah.
There's when the baby wakes up, you know?
No, I've experienced that a little bit.
Yeah. You got to learn how to, yeah, man, you know? That's how you make that bond, right? You make that bond by the bad times, you know? You make that bond at 2 o'clock in the morning. You make that bond at 6 a.m. You make that bond with that child all the time, you know, as much as you can. So you can start, man, by working on that with yourself, right? Let's find some books to read and let's get up, you know? Let's get up and be a productive adult in the world. Because practice don't start, you know, you got plenty of time. You know, the world starts at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Get to a car dealership tomorrow. You know, my man? That's the steps that are going to take you to where you need to go. And I'm not talking about in your fight career.
I feel that.
So, and you know it, right? You're from Chicago, right?
Yeah, I know.
What was your family life like?
It's hopefully like the one I want to have with Harley and her mother. My father and my mother, they split when I was like 2 years old.
Okay.
So I've always grown up with the 2-parent household, 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases, all that stuff.
Right.
My dad's a police officer. My mother is a social worker. Okay. They're both productive members of society. They both have degrees. They both have the same aggressive mentality. Also, I'm the opposite of them. My attitude's a lot calmer. They're both hotheads, I'd say.
Yeah, you're not a hothead at all. No.
I'll
call you a hothead. Cool. And you said you have how many siblings?
I have 2 younger sisters, a younger brother, and an older brother.
All right. And they're all productive, doing well?
Yeah, my older brother's a police officer in Dallas. My younger brother's a police officer in Chicago. My younger sister, she's 20. She's entering her junior year at the University of Illinois. And the youngest is about to enter high school.
All right, man. So it looks like it's on you, homie. Right? You sowed that seed. You brought on the next Blaydes, right?
Yeah.
Next generation of Blaydes.
I was the first. I didn't think I'd be the first.
Yeah, but you are, right?
Yeah.
So now that responsibility falls on your lap, you know? That responsibility falls on your lap, my man. To not let your mom and dad down. To not let their parents down. Because obviously their parents came from a time when it wasn't so easy, you know? Like our grandparents, man, you know? Fuck. They came from a time where they couldn't drink the same water that everyone else drank, you know? They had to sit in the back of the bus. And they did something. Both sets of your grandparents did something to get their children to get educated, good jobs, and raise you. And raise your brothers and sisters who are all productive members of society, you know?
Yeah.
Just look at our current political situation, man. A black guy can't even take a knee these days, right? Tim Tebow can kneel down and it's good, right? During the national anthem. Whatever, he's praying, he's not praying, who fucking knows what he's actually doing, right? But he's on his knee during the national anthem and everybody fucking loves him, you know? And that ain't the truth for African Americans in this country, you know?
No.
Everyone thinks Colin Kaepernick is taking a knee for him. Man, he's not taking a knee for him. No cop is going to shoot Colin Kaepernick. He's taking a knee for your dad and your brother, right? So that they don't get shot.
Yeah.
You know, when they go to it. Yeah, man. So you have a little daughter now. You owe it to her, you know? You owe it to her, man. You know, and I only say this because I care about you, you know?
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that too.
I'm a Curtis Blaydes fan. And I'll be honest, I did some things probably in the beginning when you first came that maybe turned you off to me. And I apologize for that, you know? I'm probably aggressive like your parents are, you know? So that you were like, ugh.
You get along well with my dad.
Yeah, you're like, oh, man, I don't need this. You know? I don't need this. So for my role in that, I'll take responsibility. And it's all my responsibility, you know, for that. But I like you. And I don't, like I told everyone the other day, I don't like you because you're doing well. You know, I don't like you because you fight in the UFC. I think you have some potential as a human being. And I think, especially now that you have a child, we got to start really realizing and working on harnessing and capturing that potential.
I feel you. It starts now.
It starts now. I would love for you to have some things for Vinny on Monday. When you see him on Monday, you know, of some action steps that you're going to take that week and you're going to have done to be the man that you want your daughter to marry.
I'll definitely do that.
Can we do that? You hit mitts with Vinny on Monday, right?
Yeah.
When you walk into Vinny's place, spend 15 minutes, man. Spend 15 minutes on Monday and be like, all right, man, help me. Help me with some things. These are some things I need to get done. How do I do this? Think we can do that?
I got no problem asking for help.
Man, all right, well, then let's do it, right? Let's do it because it's way more important than this fight you got coming up against Ngannou.
Yeah.
You know, it's way more important because we all know the world ain't nice. You know, we all know that the fight game is even less nice.
Yeah.
You know? So the fight game don't care about you. It never will. But you got to care about you, and you got to be able to provide for that little girl. So
that's my goal.
That's your goal. Fuck yeah,
I aim to reach it.
All right, homie. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, that was good. I feel ready to spar.
All right. Well, go spar. Go spar and have a list for Vinny on Monday, homie.
I got it.
All right, Curtis.
Appreciate your time.
Hey, man, tell everyone where they can reach you.
You can reach me at RazorBlades265 on Instagram and on Twitter.
Hey, by the way, what's this Lionel? Is Lionel your first name, not Curtis?
No, that's my middle name. Don't be telling people that.
I don't. My bad. You didn't tell me not to, and I don't edit shit. So I just wondering.
Listen to this one.
All right. This one. Hey, nobody listened to this episode of the Gospel of Fire. Everyone good? All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on, guys, and we'll see you next time on The Gospel.
No problem, man.
Later, Curtis.
All right, bro.
Hey, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Gospel of Fire. Hit me up on my social media at FireMarshal205 on both Twitter and Instagram. Give me a follow at my fan page on Facebook, Eliot the Fire Marshal. Give a subscribe on iTunes, on Stitcher, wherever you're listening. Throw a review up there. We'd greatly appreciate it. We'll see you on the next episode.